Hi there. So I'm kind of just coming on here to share what's going on with me, and it's been a lot, to be honest. Part of my purpose actually is kind of to share with the collective. So you're not alone, and to help guide you and to help you through whatever you're going through. Because I wasn't when I started my journey, I didn't really have anybody giving me the tools, and I want to give those to you. So, um, I was on here the other day doing a video about masculine and feminine energy. And when I say that, that's about like everybody has masculine and feminine energy. Um, so I was talking about what I was discovering, that my masculine energy is like super present and like the main dominant force inside of me. It's not balanced. It's more masculine energy. And I've always thought it was, feminine. No, I've always been masculine energy. So with that, what I'm talking about today is my nervous system, the nervous system, because it's all tied into what I've been going through for months, honestly. And, the other day, like 2 days ago, I had a really, really, really bad day. I haven't had a day like this bad in a long time. My anxiety was awful. I talked in my last video how I've upped my meds, and you know, I mean, yeah, I need that right now, but it's not the solution, and I know that. So, the important thing when you're going through like this healing journey is that you don't, like when you start going through a healing journey, right? Is that you don't try to numb it out, because that's what I was doing before. That's what I was doing. I was just like, oh, no, we're not going to look at that, right? Um, so, you know, my anxiety is super high right now is because I'm facing the things that I didn't want to look at from my past, right? So yet again, I'm having a conversation with my boyfriend, poor guy. And he said something to me that like really clicked. We've had multiple conversations, and I'm just trying to like express what I'm going through, and um, not knowing how to communicate the words because I don't even know, right? But looking at my relationship with him and feeling like I'm doing something wrong or something's going wrong. Like that's a constant thing that I've been doing. That's what I've been doing. And he said to me, like, you don't know what the reality is. It's like you don't know the reality because, from my end, he's saying from my end, everything's good. It's all going to work out. And when he says it's all going to work out, that makes me feel good, right, in the moment. But him using the words reality, and I left the conversation. We, talked about it. We laughed, and everything was good. So I left the conversation. I really was thinking about what he was saying, and I was like, he's right. I don't know the reality. I don't know what's reality. Like, I've always been safe in my relationship. I'm going to get messy. I already know. So I've always been safe here with this person, not like just our home. With this person, I've always been safe. That's the reality that I've never been able to see. So, and every time we've had this conversation, I've literally gave this guy an out. I said to him, why are you still with me? I said that. I said those exact words, right? And, his answer doesn't matter. That's between him and I. I'm only sharing this part of it because I'm here to help you. Oh my God, that made me think that's like a perfect, when I said I'm here to help, it made me think of Ultron. We're here to help. We're here to help. No. The mind. Okay. So okay. So I went through that right with him. So then I'm out trying to work and I'm just having a really hard time. I couldn't stop crying. I'm like, okay, usually I can really understand that it is in my head and then get back to center. But I'm like, I don't want to, I said to him in that moment that, and I've said this to him before, that I don't want to keep doing this and I don't want to seek validation. Like that's not who I am anymore, but there's a reason I'm doing it, right? So I ended up pulling over and I called not the suicide helpline, but a Michigan helpline. Because actually, we're going to sidestep for a minute. Spirit was blocking me from therapy for a minute because I've been trying to find a therapist. And actually, I'm not going to get in the details of what happened, but it literally was like I would figure something out and then, it didn't work out for whatever reason. And I'm like, okay, it's just not the right person. But I'm like, something was telling me, no, Spirit is actually literally blocking your therapy. So in that moment, I was just like, I have to get help now. Got to do it. So I got on the phone, talked to a complete stranger, right? And just bawled my eyes out. Okay. On the phone, bawling my eyes out to this complete stranger, and they just listened. And I'm so grateful for that phone call because what ended up happening is I recognized the reality of what was happening. So, I talk about trauma a lot. Trauma, because that's what I'm here to do, is to figure out my trauma, deal with it, and, help you move alongside you with your trauma, okay? Without carrying it. Need to carry it. So with that phone call, I realized that even though I already kind of knew this, I'm carrying trauma, like deep-rooted trauma from a past relationship. And it's been like a black cloud over my relationship with my boyfriend. And with realizing that, I had a moment of clarity that I never actually kind of sat in, like, thought about the things that happened to me, which I think a lot of us do. Even though you're working on your healing, right? Sometimes you don't like sit and think about the events that happened that put you in the space, right? And with that clarity, because one of the things I forgot to say in the beginning is that I've been trying to explain to my boyfriend that, how was I saying it even now? I'm trying to remember because I kept saying the same thing. Oh, walking on eggshells. That's the constant thing that I had to do. I was constantly walking on eggshells. So in my current relationship, I was creating eggshells that weren't there, right? Because that's what I lived. Eggshells all the time. So when I was on the phone with that lady, I just got really pissed off and I just started thinking about what actually happened. Because when the things end, and you like don't want to, you're not a victim, right? You're just like, okay, this happened and I played a part in it too, and I'm just gonna, move on. And people get tired of hearing about it, and you get tired of talking about it. So, and looking back to who I was then, I was talking about it differently, right? I was the victim. I was looking for validation or support, but like more it was more the validation piece that what happened wasn't okay. And I mean, that needs to be acknowledged too. But it was really more of a, I needed to sit with what's happened and, say it's not okay myself, and not to say I can't talk about it with other people, and I'm going to talk about it with the therapist, right? Because what is really, this all boils down to with my nervous system, is I have CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And I mean, I'm not actually really diagnosing myself. I was talking to my friend Carly, and she said, this is what's going on with you. And she's in mental health. But what that means is that I'm getting triggered regularly because of this relationship and my current relationship. And it's affecting my well-being. And then it's affecting my boyfriend too, right? So after that phone call and I had my clarity, I went home and, I told my boyfriend that I made that phone call and that I didn't really work. I couldn't work. I just was so drained. Because my nervous system, because what happens for me, and then this is going to be different for everybody, but what happens for me, my anxiety sits here, but it gets so extreme because I'm trying to work through and get my nervous system to understand we're safe, right? That it's like an extreme version of anxiety where I'm feeling it, and I'm much more aware of my body now too. So I'm feeling it here. I'm feeling it in my arms just got chills. And then my gut kind of does the thing. Ugh, like I got a pit in my stomach. So, what was I saying? Nervous system. Oh, so I was talking to my boyfriend and said that I called somebody, and he said, oh, okay. So then, like, how did that go? And I said, good. And, he teases me about crying, and it's in a fun, loving way. He's not actually making fun of me for crying. And I said, yeah, I cried on the phone. And he was like, oh, what did you talk about? So then we started talking about, what I experienced. And I mean, I've mentioned some of the things before, but this time, because I was in a different energy, like and not trying to put it on him, right? He was kind of like, he was open and hearing me about it. So, that day for me was a turning point, because then I just started seeing everything that was actually happening in my relationship now as a result. Like, I'd already started picking up on some of it, and actually me and my boyfriend have had multiple conversations about it, and I have taken accountability for what I am doing. But the last time, I don't even remember when this was, but the one time we talked about this before and I couldn't put my finger on it, I said, I'm going to tell you that, and he knows when I say I'm going to do something, when it comes to this, when I recognize something, I'm going to do it. So I'm like, I promise you, I'm going to work through this, but I don't think it's going to be like this, like it has in the past. So, and it hasn't. It's been a lot and a lot and a lot. Thank God he's so patient. Oh my gosh. So anyway, so some of the things that I recognize, and I'm sharing this so that you might understand why you're doing some things, and to not get hard on yourself, just to get help, just to kind of recognize what you're doing, so that you don't continue doing it, and recognize where it's coming from. Because when you're in a constant stress situation, whether it's in a relationship, a job, whatever, that stuff sticks with you, and then you carry it forward if you don't deal with it. And one of the things that I realized after all these realizations is that oh shoot, lost my train of thought. Oh gosh darn. I'm sorry. There's so much to this that I'm trying to make sure I get it all in here. If I miss something, it's okay though. maybe we'll come back around on that. Nervous system, relationship. Maybe if I say the word, it'll just click. So what I was doing what I am working on not doing now. I guess we'll talk about that because I don't know where I was going. I apologize. But so actually a couple days before this conversation that I had with my boyfriend a couple days ago, I had a different conversation with him, and I was trying to kind of express some of the things that I realized I had been doing in our relationship. And what it looked like was, and I had already been starting to move out of these things where I was getting up when he got up. I was checking on him first thing and making sure he was okay, and trying to see what he was doing for the day and just monitoring his energy to make sure he was sound, and kind of worrying about if he might not be okay or he might get angry. And I've seen my boyfriend angry plenty of times, but what's funny is, and I mean, he's been mad at me. I'm not saying he's never been mad at me, but I've seen him actually angry. And that used to be intimidating to me because I grew up in a home, I've talked about this before, where nobody got angry. Nobody really, everything was just fine all the time, right? And I think that was a lot of us. I'm not knocking my parents. That's just how it was. So, him being okay expressing himself that way was really uncomfortable for me for a while. And then I was just like, oh, this is healthy. This is something I need to do. I need to express my anger. And I'm still working on that, actually. That's a tough thing for me to do. So anyway, so I expressed to him that I was doing this because what I was trying to do was get him to understand the severity of what I've been through. And I think really I was just trying to get myself to understand the severity of what I went through so I could process it, so I can move forward. And, even with realizations, like that doesn't change that, or it doesn't magically make everything fine and make it go away. It's just something that I'm acknowledging out loud and saying, okay, this is part of the problem and this is what I got to work on. So anyway, so the monitoring, his mood and what he's doing was really a direct effect of me being in a relationship where I had to constantly do that with somebody because I didn't know which side of them I was going to get. And I thought if I anticipated, or if I, how do I want to say it? If I anticipate it, or if I, make my energy okay and show up in this good energy, then that person will be fine. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter because I was walking on eggshells, like I said. So I was recreating that in my relationship because, what I experienced in my past relationship is that I couldn't do anything right. I was constantly under a microscope, and it wasn't just this person, it was somebody else doing it to me at the same time. So, I was under constant supervision almost of like who I am as a person, and constantly being knocked down and told, that, and not so many words, like, not that I'm a bad person, but like what you're doing is wrong and it's awful and you're awful kind of thing. So, I kept trying to fix myself, kept trying to fix that thing. And I mean, listen, some other things I'm not I'm not saying I'm perfect, because I am not, clearly. But some of the things were valid. Some of the things I was doing. But, you know, when you feel like nothing you do is ever good enough for a long period of time, that really gets to you up here, right? Because, I'm generally a good person. I want the best for everybody. I don't want to harm anybody. I'm doing the best I can. Even now, I mean, I recognize that I'm really broken a lot from that experience, and that's okay. It's important that I recognize that, right? So that's one of the things that I was doing in my relationship. And, whenever somebody else, like, whether it's my boyfriend or anybody, was in a bad mood, I would pick up on that mood and I would carry that mood, and, or, out working and I would carry that mood. It would just be, ugh, right? But, what else? Oh, so, one of the things that I mentioned to my boyfriend is that I have been actively trying to switch up my routine. Once I noticed that monitoring thing, I said, I've been trying to, like, go for walks. I've been trying to get more independent, because one of the things that I mentioned is that I've always been codependent. Like, even before I met this other person, I was codependent. So, it's been really challenging for me to do that, because every time I mention this, every time I start taking steps and it starts feeling good, my body, my nervous system freaks out and says, no, this isn't safe. This isn't what I know. I don't know what to predict, right? It's a predictive thing, predictive mode or something. So, when it comes to my business too, that's something that I've been trying to focus on, because I love it, and it's another piece of my heart here, but it reminds me of the past, because that's something that I was trying to create, and just got criticized for it. So it's just, everything right now is coming full circle, and I've said this in a previous video, and it's important that it does, because we're in this time now where we're being shown the reality of things, of what happened, and we don't want to repeat that. So at what point do you say, like, I'm not going to let this story define me anymore. I deserve to be happy, and I'm just going to let this go. And you can't let it go until you really sit with, hey, this happened. Because trauma, unfortunately, what we do when we've got trauma is we bury it. We don't want to look at it. It's too hard. But the sooner that we can look at it, we can accept it, and we can start moving forward. So, I was gaslit. I was bullied. I was manipulated. I was, it was like all psychological for me, verbal, and at the end of it, I was the one who took the blame for everything that happened. Is that fair? No. Did I do things wrong? 100%. I'm not perfect, like I said. I made mistakes too. But I've been carrying the responsibility of that this whole time. Like, I screwed all that up. I did all that. No, I didn't. No. Nope. So, now in the relationship I'm in now, I'm constantly worried that I'm doing something wrong, that I can't get it right, that I need to fix something in my relationship, that I need to fix something with me. Otherwise, it's not going to work out because of that relationship. Point blank, period. So, with that, I'm going to work on letting it go. And it's one day at a time, baby steps for real. I just watched, I think I talked about this on my last video. I just watched What About Bob? Because he's like, baby steps to the door, baby steps to the bus, like, it sounds silly, but with things like this, when you're trying to rewire it all, like it all, especially here, what you thought you knew about yourself and what people made you believe to be true about you. I've been in a constant state of fixing since the end of that relationship. And, I realize now what I didn't realize before. I have been healing. 100% I've been healing, but I've been working on myself this whole time. I haven't been addressing the big elephant in the room that I really need to heal from. And the things that relationship created within me. I talked quite a while ago about love bombing. I brought that forward too. I don't do that anymore, by the way. Okay? I deserve to be loved as I am, and so do you. And if anybody's trying to fix you and mold you into somebody that you're not, or that they want you to be, then they got to take a look in the mirror. It's a mirror thing. They don't like themselves. That's it. Point blank. So this was really cool yesterday. I woke up, because part of the problem is it's like my mind is obsessive. Like, it's gotten this loop where I'm constantly going, is everything okay? Is everything okay? Is everything okay? And I'm like, God, just stop. I was getting so mad at myself. I'm like, everything's fine. Stop. Why are you doing that? So yesterday I had like a minute and I was like, nope, we're not doing that. So, things felt good and I was just kind of like moving with it. And I really did. I really felt great. I'm like, man, I'm free. Because I had the birds. I was noticing the birds were quiet and I was like, there's a reason. I'm free. Okay. You're free. We're free. I had a moment the other day where I heard, Spirit gave it to me before all this happened. And it was like, oh, to be free, the genie, not to have to go, poof, what do you need? Poof, what do you need? Poof, what do you need? So chills, that had a double meaning for me. That was like, okay, you are free in the sense that you don't have to prove you're good enough to anybody to be loved. Okay. That's number one. But also, like, I am free. There's no chains anymore. Like, that's done. It's not here anymore. That's the thing that's really hard with your mind. Like, your mind just feels like trapped because of what you lived day in and day out, right? So yeah, I'm going with the flow. Everything feels good. I'm like, yeah, I'm moving, I'm singing, whatever. And I'm in the car and I made a playlist the other day and it was really just upbeat, fun songs, nothing to do with love. I was just like, I just need to try to focus on joy, whatever that means, and have fun. And I love music, and I just want to, have fun while I'm working. So Control by Janet Jackson came on. And when I tell you, I've heard this song a million times, but the way that song hit me yesterday was like a ton of bricks. Literally in the beginning, she says, mind control, control over what I say, control over what I do. That's what I was living. That's what I was living. And listen, I allowed that. I take responsibility for that. But that person has taken no responsibility for it. So I'm putting the accountability out there. Like, it's real. It happened. It's not fake. It's not made up. I didn't make it up. Okay. It's real. So what else does she say? When I was 17, I did what people told me. Did what my father said and let my mother mold me. I totally resonated with that because I've gone through my whole life just people pleasing and doing what everybody says and what everybody expects of me. And listen, I think a lot of us do. That's a lot of us, right? A lot of us are conditioned. It's societal. That's a matrix thing that I'm breaking. There's a lot of things that I'm breaking with my nervous system. And I was like, holy shit. Yeah, I resonate with that. And then she says, got my own mind, gonna make my own decisions when it has to do with my life. I'm gonna be the one in control, okay? Because chills everywhere. Because this whole time, why I've been struggling is that I didn't realize I was in control. I was in control. I just didn't see it. And she says something about being free. She says something about being free, literally, in the song. So, man, did I keep playing that song. It was like a huge, the biggest epiphany I think I've ever had. So, today, here I am in front of you, working on myself and breaking free of the mind control that I was under. The belief that I was this person that this person said I was, and made me believe that I was this terrible. Honestly, looking at things that recent things that I've thought and whatever, I thought I was a terrible person. And how could my boyfriend love me or anybody? Nobody should feel like that. Especially when your intent as a person is good. My intent is always good. That doesn't mean it lands well all the time. But guess what? I'm the kind of person now where I take responsibility when it doesn't land well. And anybody around me now will tell you the same thing. Especially my boyfriend. I've had to make a lot of apologies to him. A lot. And he's going to get a really big one once I move through this. But I understand that it's not going to be today. Like today, I had a little bit of a struggle. Like I had to get outside. I had to talk myself down, like tell myself, hey, we're safe, and give myself like specific situations that have happened to let us know that we're safe, right? When you live 42 years, but especially, certain years of your life where you're under a lot of stress, your body's under a lot of stress, your mind's under a lot of stress, like it's hard to believe that. And the reality piece, right? It was so hard just a couple days ago to believe that I was safe, that I was secure, that I was grounded, even though I said it again and again, that I was free, that, there's no chains on me. And, there's an incident that happened that I'm not going to share, but it was kind of a laugh from spirit now, because spirit was showing me where it was all coming from. Like, it was clear as day. Like, there was a neon sign. Oh, there was neon sign right in front of me. This is the issue. It's not you. Okay. It's not your relationship. It's not your person. And really, I mean, I never believed it to be my person, but the fear is crippling. Okay. That I was under before. So now, when I look at things from now that I'm on this side of the fence, right? I was afraid that I couldn't trust myself, because how could I let somebody do all those things to me that they did? How could I? I'm not even sharing all of it. I mean, the meat and potatoes aren't important. I shared a big piece of what's been happening that is important, so you can see that these trauma situations that you go through create something within you that needs to be healed and saved. It feels like saved, I want to say, because it's like your inner child. Okay. Like, that's where, for me, my nervous system's been really out of whack. I've been having to say, hey, I got you. Remember, I got you. You're safe. I didn't have you before. I have you now. Like, we're safe here. Okay. We're safe. And one of the biggest fears that I've had for months now is losing my person. And, it's an energetic thing that I know this other person has tried really hard to sabotage my relationship. But guess what? It's divinely protected and you can't. So take that. That doesn't matter. Anyway, it's important to give yourself grace. And, I've talked a lot about being really critical, like, of myself. And I am. I've always been, but especially because of this situation. So, so deep breath. One day at a time, one moment at a time. Reminders are really good. I probably need some new ones that I'm going to set up. Self-talk, self-soothing, self-parenting, in the sense that, not like, this isn't about my parents, but just like hey, I got you. We're safe now. Okay. So anybody that's been through traumatic relationships, work spaces, maybe family members, and you're out of it, or maybe you're still in it, remind yourself that, maybe these people don't have you, but you've got you. Okay. And, with that, talking about that, this is going to be a long bit. I mean, it's already long. Part of the matrix piece that I was talking about. One of the things about, like, people pleasing, right, that a lot of us kind of have that ingrained in us. I've always super admired that my boyfriend can just say, I don't want to do that. I don't like that. Like, he has always been good at setting boundaries with me, or just in general in life. Like, that's not something I want to do. And I've never been good at that. I've gotten better, but, with this realization of, the boundary overstepping, constant boundary overstepping that I've experienced in my life, but especially in that relationship, I realize that's another part of my freedom that I am actually free, because I'm in a space where I am safe, and I have a person that is, values comfort and home, and, you know, not catering to societal ideals of what you shouldn't be doing, whether it's an event or, you know, talking to somebody you don't want to talk to. It doesn't matter, whatever it means for you, say no. Just do it. It's for your well-being. Okay. Um, and there was something recently that happened, um, that made that ever more clear for me, that I have completely changed, and I really do appreciate sovereignty above all else. And I really care about people that I care about, but I'm starting to recognize that, if I don't feel like doing that thing, I'm just gonna not do it. And that's okay. People are gonna love you anyway, right? Because we're not all the same. Some people really enjoy being around people a lot, right? They do. That's okay. Good for them. If you're like me and you've got introverted, like I can be extroverted too. I've got that in there, but I'm typically more introverted. And if you're sensitive to energies, keep that in mind, because, one thing that I will master, but I can't right now because I'm really focusing on me at the moment for once in my life, is that, oh gosh, I completely lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. Here we go. The mind. It's gone through a lot lately. The loop, the spiraling, that's what I forgot to mention. That's literally what kept happening to me. But every day it's going to get better. I said that yesterday and I felt it, and it's real. So what was I even talking about? People pleasing, doing what I want, introverted. Totally lost it. I'm so sorry. I was going somewhere with it, but because I'm taking care of myself. Like, being sensitive, and like, okay, yeah, I'm going to be working on eventually mastering not allowing other people's energies to affect me, right? But because I'm so sensitive to other people, that's going to be a challenge, and it's not something I'm going to take on right now. So what I'm trying to tell you, if you're like me, introverted, and you can sense other people's energies, keep that in mind. If you're drained or if you're tired and you're supposed to go somewhere, be like, I'm sorry, I can't go. And you don't even need to say why. Maybe you can explain at first if you want, but you got to make sure you're taking care of yourself. Because, it's true. If you're not good on the inside, how can you be good on the outside with other people? And, I haven't been good on the inside for a long time. And it's been really highlighted lately. And I'm really working on just allowing myself to be present and joyful and happy, because I really am in a great space. Like, I've got a great relationship, clearly, steady, committed, loyal to the T here. We've built a solid foundation, thank God. And, I've got this beautiful business that's going to grow here, right? That I'm working on growing. And that's been one thing that's been triggering me too, because I keep trying to step into the space, but it's a lot at once, right? Because I'm blooming into the real Colette while also trying to create this big space for, it is already created, but being seen, being vulnerable. I've already been vulnerable on here, but this is like, I haven't really talked about this. I mean, it's about the nervous system, because Spirit really said, okay, enough is enough. This is in the past. It's got to stay there. Right? So I can't promise you that I'm going to be doing a lot with the collective right now, because I got to take care of myself. And when I tell you, it's not to scare you, but when you get to this space where you feel safe enough, because that's what is happening to me right now, finally recognizing that I'm safe. So now I'm having to face all these things that I wasn't facing. It's not pretty. It's not. If you have anxiety, your anxiety is gonna be triggered. I know I've said this, but I never thought I'd be on medication ever again in my life. Here I am. It's okay. I needed it. I need it right now. 100%. Get help. Ask for help. And I have an appointment this week with a therapist. So, but that was triggering for me too, because it brought up the past all over again. I was putting that off because I'm like, I can do it. Well, part of my journey is figuring it out so I can help you, right? But with something this large, I can't do it alone. I need some tools from a professional, and I'm going to get that. But I'm proud of myself because I have been figuring it out alone, but also with the help of someone I love very dearly and other people that I love very dearly as well. The other day when I had a really hard time, I reached out to 2 people, they didn't answer. And I was like, this is on purpose because I have to figure this out. Like, this is my life, not anybody else's. And one of the things that I've gone my whole life doing is, it's kind of weird because it's like, I don't want to burden people, but I really want to, include you because I feel like I can't handle it. And part of what triggered me today is that I'm like, am I going to be able to handle this? Hello. Are you kidding me? This shit I've been through? Yes, I can handle it. I promise you that, Colette. You got this. If I wasn't capable, I wouldn't have made it to this point. Okay? And same for you, wherever you're at. Like, you start doing the work, you already are committed to it. That's the real. So, I don't know where I was going again. Make room for more for you. Be kind to yourself. If you're feeling anything that I'm feeling, please reach out. Put it in the comments. Message me personally. Personally, I'm here for you. Book a reading. I'll put that in the comments. You're not alone. This isn't easy. This is not easy. And anybody who says it is lying to you. But it's important if you want to live a good life. If you want to be really happy. It starts here, not outside of you. Okay? I think I'm going to do a couple of self-forgiveness cards for some reason. Pardon me. Spirit is like, yeah, let's do that before we end the chat. This is going to be hard to put out there, but I'm going to do it. And sorry to my boyfriend. He'll probably never watch the video, but, I'm not talking about what's going on in our relationship to share with the world so they know our personal business. I'm only exposing myself. I'm only exposing me, not him. So he's just kind of a private guy. I love that about him. Gemini. Okay. Here we go. Self-reflection. I forgive myself for expecting others to be for me what I have found difficult to be for myself. Yeah, I choose to believe that when I patiently allow myself to explore and embody all aspects of my potential, I may access my divine strength and wisdom. See exactly what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I was looking outside myself for help, but, or saying, I don't know how to do this. I can't do this alone. But it's like, okay, what tools do you already have? You can. You've got this. I got you. We've got you. We can do it. Not to say don't ask for help, but you got it within you. Esteem seeker, the narcissist. I forgive myself for neglecting others in an attempt to avoid being asked to share more than I feel I am capable of sharing. I choose to believe that when I'm open and honest about what I am willing to give and when I strengthen the bonds between myself and those I love. So for me, this is really about not having boundaries and saying, like, overgiving to feel like I need to do that to deserve love. And so then when someone's asking me for help or something, it's like, I'm always helping you. But are you really always helping them, or are you doing something that you think is helpful for them? Right? And it's important to establish boundaries. If you can't help somebody, don't do it. Say, I'm sorry, I can't. And that's something I've been working on too. Just finding time to really focus on myself and not worry about like my person or, my family or my dogs or whatever, because that's a codependent tendency, right? Purpose seeker, the caregiver. Exactly. I forgive myself for feeling as though I should not have experiences that only I seem to benefit from. See what I mean? I choose to believe that when I give myself permission to independently explore my desires, I am able to return to my loved ones with renewed passion. See, this is something from my past relationship that I'm struggling with now, that I'm working on, that I think I'm doing better. And the business is a perfect example. It's like, okay, I have something that's only mine and I want to pour into it, but then I feel like I'm leaving out like my boyfriend, or I feel like I'm being selfish because I'm focusing on this thing instead of them. But my boyfriend's got things that he does on his own, like work on his cars. He loves doing that, right? So it's very important, if you're like me, you're codependent, you're people pleasing, that you like start trying to recognize these patterns because what I was doing was not really seeing where I end and he begins, like that's a real thing. So now it's like, okay, I can still be an individual and still be in this relationship. That's what I was having trouble grasping. Because, before I was meant to cater to everybody else. What did I say? I did what people told me. There's a cardinal outside, right? I'm not doing that anymore. You're not doing that anymore. It's time to be, exist, be you. Sovereignty. Cardinal is going crazy out there. You can do it. Trust that. I'm doing it. One day at a time. Okay, last one. Self-expression. I forgive myself for allowing my fear of failure keep me from showing up with full presence and enthusiasm. I choose to believe that I'm doing the best that I can in every moment, and my efforts are valuable irrespective of the outcome. Yes. So fear of failure is big too with what I'm doing here. I can't fail at it. That's what I'm meant to do. But see, fear of failure in my relationship as well. What exactly this whole thing that I've been talking about. But also, there was something else I thought about. Fear of failure. Full presence. Oh, shoot. Gosh, I am just forgetting. Forgive me for forgetting. The fear is real, though. That's what was happening. And that's when your nervous system kicks up. It's fear. It's not intuition. It's not. And that's one of the things that was happening to me too. I was questioning my intuition and my, like, is this fear or intuition? Because I kept feeling something right here. Like when I'm having these moments. But it was my nervous system saying, is this safe? Are we safe? Is this safe? Questioning that constantly. So part of the talk about the nervous system is recognizing when it's hitting you and saying, no, we're safe. That's not the reality anymore. I'm doing my best that I can in every moment. Yes. I don't know. Just show up. Do your best. I'm proud of you. Again, I'm going to put my booking information in the comments. I've got new services. Check them out. If you got any questions about them, let me know. And I hope this helps somebody. And know that this was really uncomfortable for me to come on here and talk about. But I did it because it's important. Because it's important to speak the truth and speak about the reality of things. So that's what I'm here to do.